Hello my loves, Tony here from TL Yarn Crafts and welcome back to my channel. We are in a slightly different location today because I stopped at my local Joann to pick up the materials for today's project. We are making the Kensington Tote Bag from my very own book, the Tunisian Crochet Handbook. I'm super excited to share this project with you because all of the patterns within the book are exclusive, so this will be the one and only project that you're going to see a video tutorial for. I want to give a huge thanks to Lion Brand for partnering with me for this video. We are doing a giveaway in collaboration with this video, so make sure you stick around for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to try my best to go into this Joann, get exactly what I need for this project, and get out of there. I have a terrible habit of going off script when I go inside Joann, so y'all are gonna have to keep me accountable, okay? Let's go. Okay, so I'm back here by the Woolies Thick and Quick, and this is turning out to be a much more difficult decision than I thought it was going to be. There's so many good colors, but I think we're going to get a little bit nuts, okay? I think we're going to go off script for traditional TL Yarn Crafts colors, and we're going to go for something a little more fun. So I found this color, which is called Dreamcatcher. It's got some purples, some blues, some pinks. I don't know, not my typical go-to, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. All I need to do now is pick a complementary color. Feels a little close. And that one, a little off. Something's wrong about it, so I don't like that. This feels like a good match. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna do Dreamcatcher and Fairy. Love them. Okay, I just did another once around in the yarn section. I'm not seeing anything that strikes my fancy or is brand new to me, which is kind of a good thing, so I'm not buying a bunch of stuff that I don't need. So let's get what we've got and head home so we can make our Kensington tote bag. To make the Kensington tote bag, you need 2 colors of super bulky weight yarn. For your first color, which will be the bottom of the bag, you're going to need 85 yards. You'll notice that the yarn I grabbed has 87 yards in a ball, so I did get 2 skeins just in case. For your second color, which will be the top half of the bag, you'll need 175 yards. I grabbed 2 skeins of this color. In addition to the yarn, you'll need a 12mm corded Tunisian crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. The last and most crucial item is a copy of the Tunisian Crochet Handbook, which holds the pattern for the Kensington tote bag. You've heard me say it before, but I am so excited that this book is finally available online and in some local yarn stores and local bookstores. So be sure to check it out and look down in the description for a link to get your copy. To start, grab your B color and create a slip knot. Place that on your hook, and then we're going to chain 12. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We'll now fasten off and set this to the side. We'll use this set of 12 chains in our handle. Make a second set of 12 chains and set that to the side with the first. To start your bag, grab your A color, create a slip knot, and place it on your hook, then chain 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 25. Once you've made your 25 chains, find the second chain from the hook. With Tunisian crochet, we typically work in the back bump, but for this project, you'll just want to work in the top loop of your chain because we're going to work on the opposite side of the chain to make the other side of our bag. Pull up a loop in the second chain from the hook, and each chain down the line Once you're done, you should have 25 loops on your hook, and then we can do our return pass. Once you've collected all of your loops, you can now chain 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, until you have just 1 loop left on your hook, and that will complete your foundation row. For row 2, we'll Tunisian knit stitch across the row. Find the front and back bar of your second stitch and insert your hook between those bars, pushing towards the back of your work. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and make sure you pull that loop up nice and high. This will make sure that your Tunisian knit stitches aren't too tight and that you have a softer gauge. Repeat for each stitch down the line, and join me at the end of the row and I'll show you how to do your final stitch. For your final stitch, make sure you grab both loops of that last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then you can start your return pass, which starts with a chain 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, again until you have just 1 loop left on your hook. Continue in your Tunisian knit stitch pattern until you have 10 rows completed in your A color. At the end of the 10th row, change to your B color. I'm just about done with my 10 rows, and I can count the V's on the side to make sure. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I just need to finish my return pass and I can switch to my B color. Grab your B color, leaving a nice long tail, yarn over the hook, and pull through the final 2 loops. I can now continue in my Tunisian knit stitch pattern with my B color. Continue your knit stitch rows until you have 28 total rows. Just a quick note that you should expect a pretty major curling issue that's common with the Tunisian knit stitch, so don't worry about it. Also, you can fasten off your A color. I now have 28 total rows on my project, and I can move on to row 29. Starting with the second stitch, we'll knit 8. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Insert your hook into the next stitch as for knit stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through the next loop on your hook for a slip stitch. We'll do that 9 times. So here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, here's 6, 7, 8, and 9. We essentially did a bind off on those stitches. And now we'll knit the remaining stitches. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll work the last stitch like normal, making sure we insert under both loops of that final stitch. For the return here, we'll start with a chain 1, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook 7 times. At this point, we'll fasten off, and we need to weave in this end. Adjust the hook so you can continue working with the loops that are still on the hook. Grab your B color, and leaving a long tail, yarn over, pull through 1 loop for a chain 1, and then complete your return pass as normal. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops until there's 1 loop left on the hook. For our next row, we'll Tunisian knit stitch each of the next 6 stitches. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then work under both loops of that last stitch. Grab one of those 12 chain links that we made earlier. This is going to become the bottom of our handle. Flip the chain over and find the back bumps. We're going to pull up a loop in each back bump of these 12 chains. Insert your hook into the back bump. Yarn over with your working yarn and pull up the loop. So there's one. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then we'll knit each of the remaining stitches to the left of the bind off. This is our first one. Insert for knit stitch. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Work your last stitch under both loops. Then we'll do the return pass as normal, starting with a chain 1, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, until we've got 1 loop left on the hook. Pay close attention when you transition from the stitches on the left to the stitches that were worked into that chain. We're still just going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, adjusting as necessary. From here, we'll complete 2 more rows of Tunisian knit stitch straight across. Join me after you finish those 2 rows and I'll show you how we'll bind off. One hack I like to use to make binding off easier is to use a traditional crochet hook. Here I have a hook the same size as my Tunisian crochet hook, a 12mm. I'm going to insert my hook into my working loop, go into my next stitch as for Tunisian knit stitch, yarn over and pull up the loop, and then pull through the remaining loop on my hook. I find that working the bind off with a traditional hook makes it easier for me to control my stitches, and I'm just more used to working with a traditional hook, so doing slip stitches with it is simpler for me. Continue your bind off across the row, working your slip stitches fairly loosely. Once you're done, fasten off your yarn and weave in any ends. Now that the first side of our bag is complete, we can flip our work to pick up stitches along the foundation row to work the second side. Here at the base of our stitches, we can see the live loops still on our foundation row. Insert your hook into the first stitch and yarn over with your A color, leaving a nice long tail. We'll pull up a loop in the base of each stitch across the line, and we should have 25 loops on our hook at the end of this forward pass. From here, we can chain 1 and complete our return pass as normal. For this second side of your bag, you're going to repeat all of the instructions from the first side. That includes the first 10 rows in your A color, the following rows up to 28 rows total in your B color and all instructions for creating and completing the handle, binding off, and weaving in your ends. You can jump back to this timestamp and follow those instructions starting at row 2. Once you're done, join me back here and we'll move on to our finishing steps, starting with blocking. To block our project, we'll need a few items, including locking foam mats, rust-proof T-pins, and a garment steamer. All of these items are linked down in the description. Plug in your garment steamer and let it start preheating. In the meantime, let's set up our blocking mats. 3 by 2 should be plenty big enough for this project. Lay your bag face down and open on the blocking mats, and use the grid lines if you have them to create straight lines and start pinning your bag. Pin each side of your bag, smoothing out any imperfections, bumps, or ridges. Make sure you pay close attention to the handle of your bag as well, pinning the opening as well as the top edge of the handle. Once your bag is sufficiently pinned, grab your garment steamer. Mine has a button that I can press for continuous steam, and then I'll start just slow, deliberate movements over the bag about 1 inch above the fabric. Blocking our bag this way offers many benefits. Not only will it soften the bag and improve drape, but it will aid in elasticity and give it a polished look. If you've ever seen my pieces in photos and wondered why they look so good, it's because I block nearly everything I make, from bags to blankets and most definitely any garments. Now I'm going to leave this piece to completely dry overnight. In the morning we can remove it from the blocking boards and close up the sides. I've unpinned my bag from the blocking boards and you can see it's got a beautiful look to it. The drape is wonderful and the stretch is fantastic. Last step here is just to seam up the sides. To help me along the way, I like to use a few locking stitch markers. I'll put a locking stitch marker on the stitches that match up on either side of my seam just to make sure I keep my seam straight. We'll use the mattress stitch to seam up our project, and make sure you use a like color for each section. So we're going to start with this B color section. So I'm just going to pull out a length of yarn, cut it, and then we can begin our mattress stitch. Thread your yarn onto your tapestry needle and lay your seam flat in front of you. Starting on the left side, insert your needle from top to bottom through the stitch on the left. Then do the same for the stitch on the right. Return to the left and work from top to bottom into the next stitch. And same for the stitch on the right. We'll repeat this down the line, pausing occasionally to pull the seam closed. Once you finish the top section, you can move on to the bottom section, making sure you use a light color. Complete for the opposite side of your bag, weave in your ends, and your bag will be done. And that is a wrap on the Kensington Tote Bag, and I have to say, I hate it, but I love it! These colors are something else. And does it look like a unicorn threw up on it? Yes. Do I care? No. Because that's how I was feeling today. I needed something to match my nails. But seriously, if you made your Kensington tote bag today, fabulous. Pat yourself on the back. You did a wonderful job, I'm sure. And if you didn't make it today, don't worry. This video will always be here. Come back when you're feeling adventurous. Now, I did mention a giveaway that I'm doing in collaboration with my friends at Lion Brand. All the details are right here, as well as in the first comment of this video. Basically, do everything that it says over here and you can win a copy of my book. Very exciting. As well as all of the yarn that you need in the colors that you want to make your Kensington tote bag. Huge thank you to Lion Brand for joining me for this giveaway, and to Abrams for being a fantastic publisher and just a great partner all around. Now, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. You can start your Tunisian crochet journey right here, and I will see y'all later. Thanks so much and have a great day.